4 of our live feature, Herbs and Oils for Safety and Impact. And today we are going to chat a little bit about actives. So, active ingredients are, sorry, just adjusting again, additives that we put in our skincare formulations, and they bring added benefit to the skin texture, skin moisture, to a whole lot of different things. Additionally, they are often filled with vitamins and minerals and extra boosts for our dermal layers, and that transposes into our bloodstream, and then this is added to our daily wellness basically. Now, how is that impacted by herbs and oils? I'm sure you're wondering, and all I can say is that herbs and oils are also high in a lot of these actives, and so we need to ensure, getting back to that, reviewing the monograph, checking the safety information, we need to review the constituents and really have a good understanding of the chemical makeup of the herbs and oils that you're using before you decide to start using actives in addition to them. So, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the common actives that are used frequently in skincare. And then what I'd like you guys to do is have a look at some of the herbs and oils that may include some of these actives, so that you can have a better understanding of what that looks like. Hyaluronic acid is, it's a hydration superhero, really. It's already in your skin, but it is like a massive mega hydrator, and it bonds with water molecules. So, in simple terms, it locks in moisture and provides almost like a force field around your skin barrier. So, when we're using hyaluronic acid, we need to ensure that the herbs and the oils and the natural content of the hyaluronic acid that we already currently have within us and within our formulation is not exceeding the dermal maximum. Next, we're going to chat about squalene. So, squalene is an oil that's present in the skin's lipid barrier as it is, and we know that. So, we need to ensure that we are using relatively low amounts of squalene in our formulations so that we are not creating an overabundance that is outside of what is really super safe to do and to use within the skin. So I'm just looking at my notes here. The squalene is, oh, I lost my spot in my notes. That's not good. It's a Thursday morning for you. So it helps to minimize an overabundance of sebum on the skin surface, and it's very lightweight, and it has a very small molecular structure. And so, being that it has a small molecular structure, one of the things that we can use squalene for is dermal absorption, on account of that small molecular structure. So, number one, you want to make sure that the actives you're using are not going above dermal maximums. And number two, you want to ensure, they're called active ingredients because they are the kind of active medicinal, physiological changes. That's what they create, right? And a good majority of these actives are small on a molecular level, which means that the dermal penetration and absorption is that much quicker. Hence the fact that it's able to deliver its active action. But we need to be aware of it, especially with things like squalene, because of that tiny molecular structure. Let's say that we're going to use squalene with, an analgesic herb. Maybe you're having some pain issues and you're going to use an analgesic herb. You're going to use it with squalene. Well, that squalene, because of its small structure, is going to move that analgesic into your bloodstream a whole lot faster. So again, being super hyper aware of the maximum dermal absorption and the max allotment for both the herb and the active ingredient, and then working your way into a decent understanding of how those two work together synergistically to create that impact within the skin's layers and system. Um, Niacinamide is another one. It's a form of vitamin B3. So it's been shown to reduce inflammation and the appearance of redness and dryness, and it helps renew the surface of the skin. So one of the things with niacinamide is that it helps build keratin, which is a protein that strengthens the outer layer of our skin. Again, fantastic for your skin, fantastic for skincare products, but needs to be used in safe amounts. And you need to ensure that when you're using the niacinamide, it is used in a safe way. Like, let's say that somebody is taking a vitamin B complex and it's quite high in their in the vitamin B3 content, and then we're using the niacinamide, which is bringing that additional vitamin B3 to the body, to the skin, to the blood, and you are then potentially exceeding the vitamin B3 safety levels. So we always need to be hyper aware of what our end consumer may be doing in their life. So if we only account for the maximum allotted use of vitamin B3, just as the example, and that's what we're, oh, cheapers, I have a puppy jumping on me. Okay, sorry. Come on up. This is Molly, everybody. She's my fourth child. She thinks she owns my lap even when I'm busy. So if we are going to make a dermal skincare product and we're going to account for a daily content, let's say, of vitamin B3, and that's how we're working our formulation math, we also need to take into account that many people in this world are taking vitamin B complex, and that they're going to have that additional B3 content in there. And so we need to err on the side of caution and scale back a little bit on what would be our daily maximum, if that makes sense. Now we're going to talk again about alpha hydroxy acids. So they're plant-based substances like fruits and sugars, and they act as exfoliants, and they promote cellular turnover by breaking down the glue that holds the skin cells together. So really, that really helps the skin feel smooth. It helps keep the pores nice and clear, helps with even skin tone. Again, it's the alpha hydroxys are actually fantastic. I use them a lot in both skincare products and in hair care products. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Fruit Acid Complex. It's a fantastic product. There's a couple places that I can pick it up. I'm not sure if it's Windy Point or Voyager. I think it's Windy Point that I generally order it from. But it's a fantastic AHA, and we use it in a lot of our products. But just, be aware of it because it is high in antioxidants. And again, you want to ensure that if you're using something like that, like the fruit acid complex, you want to ensure that you are not then doubling that, and exceeding what would be a typical antioxidant level within your formula. And the other thing you really need to be cognizant of is any of these actives, the second they touch your formulation, they shift your pH. And your pH can range between 5 and 10% difference, both, forefront and end game, when you're talking shelf life of a product. So just because your pH starts out here today does not mean in 2 years it's going to be here or it's going to be here. There's this scale of pH, and all of these actives really contribute to changes in the pH, in the pH and in the viscosity of the end product. So it's you want to ensure the stability of it. As soon as you're adding these, ensure the stability of it, test the pH of it, and then likewise, do some stability testing to see what that end shelf life would be. Our shelf life goal should be 2 to 3 years at a minimum for our products. And these actives will last the 2 to 3 years, absolutely, but you need to incorporate the pH range, and you need to incorporate the viscosity changes to the formula, especially when you're using actives in your formulas. So I've got a few more here that I was going to talk about. Bixa. So Bixa is pretty new. It's the same plant that produces annetto seed, but what they're doing is they are extracting the oil from the seeds themselves as opposed to using the annetto seed. And what that is doing is it's super rich in carotenoids. So again, antioxidant, and it's very purifying, pore refining. It gives like a great clear complexion, a really healthy kind of glow and shine. But again, make sure your antioxidants are in check. Make sure that you're accounting for that increase, I guess, by using these actives. Vitamin A, of course, with retinol. Um, so we use vitamin A in a lot of stuff, and we just need to ensure that we're keeping a good balance, that not all of our actives and not all of our herbs and not all of our oils are high in the vitamin A, because without, if you have a formula that's top heavy with one active ingredient, so if all your actives and all your herbs and all your oils that you're putting into your end product, if those are all going to be high in vitamin A, you're not going to have a very balanced formula, and you are going to have great shifts in your pH and in your viscosity, because there's no there's no stabilizer, there's no balance to that scale. Vitamin B we talked a little bit about, but it was vitamin B3. But vitamin B in general, great for the skin. It tends to be a little bit. It can create a little bit of sensitivity on the exterior levels of the skin. So you start small and go bigger as you go through, like graduating from 0.5 to 1% to 1.5% in your formulations, perhaps. But because it's relatively neutral, it actually plays very well pH wise with other active ingredients. So some active ingredients are quite, they create quite the range in pH, and they're quite volatile. And other active ingredients, like the vitamin B's in particular, are quite stable. And so they maintain a fairly neutral pH of about 4.5. But always critical to check your pH levels, because your pH levels are going to change everything. They like, I mean, not just the dermal sensitivity and the actual physical feel of your product, but I'm talking about the stability. I'm talking about the second that 10% potential shift happens, you've lost viscosity, you've lost like just all of the various factors that we need to have a stable product are shifted by any little shift in pH. And so we need to account for those with all of our ingredients. So with any of the ingredients in our formula that we're putting in, any of the raw materials, we always need to be cognizant of the pH as we're making it, and then we need to do pH testing as we move through, and stability testing as we move through, to ensure that it's actually called the pH drift, is what it's called. And the pH drift theory is that your pH sits here when you make it on the day of creation, but then it can go this way or this way 10%, 10% in 2 years. So we need to account for that 10%. We need to keep our pH range nice and tiny, so that that 10% still stays in a safe, usable, comfortable range. So the last one I'm going to talk about today is vitamin C. It's known for increasing collagen and elasticin. And again, it's great for brightening the skin surface. It's used as an antioxidant, helps fight free radicals. What else do I have written down here? So the purest form of vitamin C is L-ascorbic acid. it tends to be highly unstable. So there are, it can lead to instability issues and skin irritation. So we need to, err on the side of caution with vitamin C and be very cognizant that we're using just tiny small amounts or that we're finding a safe stabilizer for it. And definitely, 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 when you're using vitamin C, make sure you're testing pH because it really does make a big difference in any of your topical formulations when you're using any type of vitamin C additive and active agent. So that's all I'm going to talk about for today. We will come back to this. I have a whole other list of actives. Those are just the ones I got to today. But it's critical that we're thinking long-term end goal when we're working on a formula, and we need to obviously incorporate the chemical components of the herbs, the fixed oils, the seed oils, the essential oils, the butters, and any active ingredients that we're using. And active ingredients can be, pretty much anything that is going to create that health impact that we are looking for. So it's any ingredient that is used as the power punch in a formula, but we need to make sure we're doing so safely. We're making sure that we are using ingredients that work well together to create stability as opposed to deter stability. So that is all for today on day 4. I hope you all have a great day. Long weekend coming up. I'm excited for Thanksgiving. I know we're doing a big Thanksgiving turkey over here. And I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. I will chat with you guys tomorrow again. Bye for now.